Another fresh week of doom. How's it going, my little meat sauce miracles and doom kids? It's February 27th. I'm glad you're back with me because I have some reporting to do today. It's been a relaxing weekend and the weather's kind of starting to warm up. Either way, we'll be looking back at now with fond memories, right? Alright. I wanted to begin today's reporting with an article and an opinion piece from Wall Street Journal. SOS for the U.S. electrical grid. I don't need to actually go into the report, just read the first paragraph or two to give you an idea of, well, the calamity that we're heading into. PJM, or otherwise Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, interconnection sounds the latest alarm that fossil fuel plants are shutting down without adequate replacement power. The political class yawns. Indeed, the warnings keep coming from the force-fed energy transition to renewable fuels is destabilizing the U.S. electrical grid. But is anyone in government paying attention? Another SOS came Friday in an ominous report from the PJM Interconnection, one of the nation's largest grid operators next to ERCOT and all the other little groups. The PJM report forecasts supply and demand through 2030 across 13 eastern states and its territory covering 65 million people. Its top line conclusion: fossil fuel power plants are retiring much faster than renewable sources are getting developed, which could lead to energy imbalances. That's a delicate way of saying you can expect shortages and blackouts. So, yeah, the picture this is painting that even if we make it to 2030 in one piece with our political structure in complete dismay, there's going to be blackouts, food shortages, rioting, mass looting. Yes, I just picked up an AR-15 about 2 weeks ago, actually a week ago. So, you know where this is headed. You're a goddamn fool if you don't see otherwise. Maybe intelligence is being able to predict the future, but it's really not that hard to predict when it's front page and center news. I wanted to go through climate and economy as well before I get to your lovely comments. Last time I did a responding to comments, it took me like 40 minutes, so I'm just gonna, well, not just because of that, also because you guys wrote some really insightful things. Like, this channel has helped me grow as a person, it really has, and understand the world much better. I could tout off all the things, all the memorable lines, but you guys know who you are and what you said. Let's go through economic roundup because I think today's interesting. From climate and economy, of course. Record global central bank interest rate rises have less impact on slowing inflation and economic growth than in the past. The Bank for International Settlements has warned evidence suggests that unprecedented tightening in global monetary policy of the last year, during which rates rose about 2.7%, is not bringing down inflation. But despite this acceleration in the US and Europe, inflation going up. Record-breaking global bond rally crumbles. Despite high inflation, Americans are spending like crazy, and it's kind of puzzling. Maybe we're just like, fuck it, money's imaginary, it doesn't mean anything. We're not going to pay this back in the next 10 or 20 years because we won't have a fucking economy. Many Americans went on a spending spree last month, eating out at restaurants and shopping for cars. In ordinary times, that additional spending would be welcome news to an economy that's heavily dependent on consumer dollars. But there's a catch. All that spending threatens to put more upward pressure on inflation. Great. Record high credit debt outpaces, so more than a third, 36% of adults owe more money in credit card debt than they have saved. Okay. This from Bankrate indicates a record high is 12 years, and it's 12 years of polling Americans, and a significant jump from the last 2 years where percentages were 27 and 22% in 2021 and 2022. So we're just, like inflation, like we know we can't win. We know this is all a Ponzi scheme. Come on. That's why American Car Center has closed. Who cares? What will happen when banks go bust? Major derivative risk collapses. There might be no bank assets left for the non-insured creditors, and a series of major derivative cross defaults could wipe out the whole FDIC kitty as well. A fifth of UK retailers fear insolvency amid energy crisis. Okay, whatever. Vegetable shortages in UK could be tip of the iceberg. Euro's core inflation rises. Thousands protest in Europe about giving weapons to Ukraine. But Sean Penn says we should send more F-16s, or not F-16, better than F-16s to Ukraine. Because Sean Penn's a prominent figure and has a profound voice because he's a fucking celebrity. Thousands rally in Italy, again, against the war in Ukraine. Pension donors, and this is a real kicker, okay? You want to phase down coal? We'll get to that in a moment. I mean, this is just, it's the end times. China approved equivalent of 2 new coal plants a week in 2022, report finds. The speed at which the projects progressed through permitting to construction in 2022 was extraordinary, with many projects sprouting up, gaining permits, obtaining financing. Okay, since COP26 in Glasgow, India has not been phasing down coal. They've been building a new coal plant like every 2 weeks. Okay, where did I read that? Maybe that was China or India. Both of them. It doesn't matter, okay? Moving on. Last but not least, undoubtedly the specter of the entire world dividing into two opposing camps. East, West, free world, communism, not free world, more like slave republic, fake democracy, and that. You like all my hand gestures? Very, very catchy, right? The world waits with bated breath while superpowers of Earth decide its fate. Because nuclear war anywhere can wipe out the entire human race. As Noam Chomsky said, there are 2 problems for our species' survival: nuclear war and environmental catastrophe. And we're hurtling towards them knowingly. And yet, the madness of endless economic growth on a planet of finite resources, the Earth's resources are finite, and economic growth that relies on an ever-increasing consumption and production leads to the depletion of natural resources. In fact, we're in the middle of this crisis, the Times of India reports. Sorry for wasting your attention for just reading that, because you knew that. Let's go through some comments, because they were quite good ones. Quite good. Okay. I have fun. Again, I'm not alone. All you guys across the world, Finland, Canada, London, Cleveland, okay, Pittsburgh, Alaska. And where's Big Cat? He's another user of mine that I enjoyed conversing with. And I've managed to still retain 1,046 subscribers. Cool. Okay, let's get through some comments. Alright, from Janu on my Hopium video. Before the impact of man, the atmospheric CO2 concentration was fluctuating between 180 and 280 parts per million for the last 800,000 years. And the peak of the Ice Age has been 180, and the peak of the interglacial warm period has been 280. Thereby, a difference of 100 parts per million represents 2 totally different worlds for nature. It is a process that takes thousands of years to adapt to this change. We are now increasing the atmospheric CO2 concentration by 3 parts per million every year. At present rate, we are now emitting the equivalent of CO2 that makes a difference between an ice age and a warm period in just 33 years. I'm 34, and the rate is still increasing. Anyone who believes there's still hope is being delusional. Yep, the train sailed a long time ago. _dot says, instead of fearing things you can't control, you can try adding a small amount of peanut butter to ramen noodles. It makes them creamy and deepens the flavor profile. Good tip, _. I am not fear of things I can't control. I am deep acceptance, as you can tell by the smile on my face, that we'll be entering a complete societal collapse by the end of this decade. Do I even want to hang on afterwards? We're just pushing pushing the pedal to the metal as hard as we can. Here we go, from Levi. I think it's okay to accept we're doomed. We're gonna live like monks now, taking right action and shit. Just kidding. The evidence is clear. We chose a scorched earth policy, and most people cannot name at least 10 edible plants within 50 feet of their front door. Not because they're dumb, because they've been abused and inoculated perhaps, by settler colonial propaganda. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, and a failed education system and so forth. How many tipping points have been crossed? Who's funding mirrors? Yep, none of this. Meh. I asked if we're done. I had some good votes up. Most people said yes. Good polls up. No techno fixes are going to fix our situation. Okay, I'm getting to the good ones, guys. I'm getting to the good ones. There are a lot of... From Jarko in Finland, the pharmacist. From time to time, I get overcome by imposter syndrome. Maybe there is no end of the world coming. Maybe I'm like those flat earth people, making a fool of myself, needlessly scared. Then I look at the cars in the parking lot in front of the shopping center in suburbs that stretch to the skyline and think about how it could all possibly be done sustainably. Giving back to nature what we take from it, that moment of hopium is lost. Moving on. I tried to get away from a barking dog, and here's another one. Believe it or not, that was the water guy, just wrong. We're getting a water filter installed in the kitchen with reverse osmosis. Hopefully that'll filter out some of the vinyl chloride, so excuse the noise.
Wow.
Look at all that.
Look at it.
It's all in the bottom of the creek bed.
Rick Ricky, he's a truck driver, hilarious guy. I can just imagine like a guy with like a mullet and like an earring, maybe. I don't know. He asks herself, who lives here? I made a video with all these McMansions, Heart Surgeon, the mayor, the regional manager at Amazon, the owner of the diamond jewelry store. And you're right, they think they're safe. The whole world is going to collapse soon, and they think money will buy them an extra month of life. Much funnier comment, also in the same vein, from Sandra Nellum on We Won't Make It in Time. Let's all come together and hope the crisis away. Hope it away. And use our human ingenuity and specialness to magically do away with all these pesky problems so we can go back to living our small but happily ignorant lives. But I say, let's hope for better things like World War III giving us all a fresh start for a green dream. She made some other funny comments. I recommend going back through Hopium. And Rick Ricky said, dude, I'm a trucker. You got to see the traffic in Washington, Detroit, New York, Hartford, Denver, Boston, Dallas. I'm from Dallas. I've lived in Seattle. I've been to LA. Like, you're talking to me like I was born yesterday. These engines run 24 hours a day. We ain't shutting it off. I know. I'm just pointing out the obvious because I'm Captain Obvious, the Doom Wizard. All right? I still think 2040 is optimistic when DeSantis wins, and 24 things will accelerate. The window shut decades ago. On Hopium, I don't know why this didn't get more upvotes. Dale said, "Good fucking grief, I want to puke." Hopelessly devoted to green energy, not lowering human population growth, says Bill. And yeah, I agree. It's the economic system, really, that's pushing us. Green Zeno, this is a notable comment. I feel like we're just ahead of the curve. We're out here trying to figure out how to accept the end when the time comes and the masses are starting to panic. As realization dawns on their faces of the inevitable end, some of us will be able to function well enough to hand out coffee or something. Maybe spread a little chaos with good intention. Humanity rocks. Yes, but I am also murdering climate deniers first. And yeah. There's just a segment of the population that's just dumb and uninformed. Really are dumb. Like, they don't self-teach. They don't take the time to use critical thinking. I kind of give them a pass, but it's climate deniers that are straight up pure evil, and I have all intentions of eliminating and having fun with that. Let them have hope. When they begin to lose hope, chaos and violence begins. Indeed. Jarko says, very painful, almost impossible to watch. You should have set a trigger warning. And I wonder how many people in those videos have kids, says Alamari. Yep, all of them. All of them. Paul said, what else is other than hope? There's acceptance. Okay, you've been put on death row. Some point between now and 2040, your life is over. Okay, at the very least. Everyone agrees that we're in a World War III, or at least in the beginning stages of it. China hasn't sent weapons and ammunition yet. Bella says he has a wooden desk, he'll be fine. Below says, at least we'd likely not have kids or grandchildren who ask us what we did in World War III. Yeah, exactly. Green Zeno says I should open a tree museum. Why? Okay, and then I posted a video about arcade games, people playing The Last of Us again. I haven't seen the latest episode. And I got back to last comments. That was a rapid fire news roundup. What did we cover? Collapse of civilization, keeping good health, eliminating evil people, and have a good time. Filter your water. Stay protected. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good week. See ya.